history of the court. Reign of the court. The history of Albion is one that is constantly reforged in revolution and bloodshed. The earliest accounts of Albion are purely legend, stating that it was a place of beauty and tranquility. Then three came from the void: the knight, the queen, and the jack of blades. They all coveted Albion and demanded that all people bow down before them. When the people refused, the court burned Albion until the earth turned black and the skies thick with smoke. Then the court demanded obedience again, only to be refused for a second time. This time the court lifted the seas into the sky and flooded the world. So the court demanded for a third and final time that people worship them, promising peace and an end to their misery. Those who survived still refused. So the court twisted their minds until brother slew brother, parents abandoned their children, and friends turned against friends. Finally, the people of Albion bowed down to the court. They demanded that the people of Albion to make statues and monuments in their honor. The birth of William Black. In the days when people were still suffering under the court's cruelty, a humble blacksmith and his wife had a boy. His name was William Black, and he would become the key to saving Albion. Little is known about William's youth. As a man, he amazed others with the power of his mind, by which he was able to protect his village and perform feats that a dozen other men could not equal. These acts became to be celebrated as the powers of will. William grew obsessed with the court, determined to find a way to overthrow it. One night, while consulting a mysterious tome, he was suddenly transported from Albion into the void. Here's where he met Jack, who sat upon a throne surrounded by ghastly figures. Jack tried to enslave William with the powers of an ornate sword, but William fought back and managed to steal the sword before escaping the netherworld. Back in Albion, the sword spoke to William. It called itself the Sword of Aeons, and it promised to help him defeat the court, but only if William offered his soul in exchange. With the Sword of Aeons, William was set off to find the court. The fall of the court. William scaled the peak of Ruan, Albion's tallest mountain, and challenged the court to combat. The Knight of Blades appeared first, and while wielding the Sword of Aeons, William destroyed him completely. Next came Jack of Blades. They struck fiercely at one another until William broke Jack's body. Some say that Jack was not truly slain, and that his soul escaped to the void. The Queen of Blades was the last to fight William. For weeks their battles raged against Albion. Mountains were raised, valleys were formed by their mighty blows. At last, William slew the queen and freed the people from their yoke. They acclaimed William, who now took the title of Archon, as their king. Rise of Albion. Once he had vanquished the court, the Archon set his mind to unifying Albion into a great kingdom. His powers of will were so great that it seems like the world reshaped itself in accordance with his wishes. Cities were built in a week's time, and miraculous machines for construction that ran on will alone. Through 1,000 years of peace, Albion reigned as the greatest center of commerce and philosophy the world has ever known. But without an enemy to vanquish, the Archon's children grew petty and cruel. They called themselves heroes and used their powers of will to terrorize the people. A younger Archon might have stopped them, but his battle with the Queen and his time in the void had infected his body and mind with a wasting illness. Faced with this decay, William wrapped his body in golden mail and a royal blue cloak before he vanished. Thus began the corruption of the kingdom. Fall of the kingdom. When the Archon vanished, Albion descended into chaos. 3 out of every 4 people were slain in wars or died of disease or starvation. Meanwhile, the Archon's many descendants envied for power. These new rulers were not as kind or wise as the first. Each new Archon, fearful of a coup, brought fresh tyranny to Albion. A massive wall was constructed around the city to keep citizens in and decent undesirables out. The Archon's personal guards were encased in armor from birth, enforcing their harsh decrees. No citizens were allowed after nightfall. Every citizen must appear when the alarm bell sounded, and any who opposed the Archon's rule were killed along with their families. The people witnessed these cruelties from behind masks that signaled their status while concealing their fear. When the kingdom had grown to its greatest extent, the Archon demanded that an immense tower to be built that focused will energy. Just after it was completed, the sky was filled with sudden bright light, and all of Albion shook. In the morning, the tower is gone, and the old kingdom laid in ruins. All of its people were gone except those who lived behind the walls. Please like and subscribe for more Fable content. You can follow me on Twitter at Sod310. You can catch my Twitch streams at Sod3101. Don't forget to use my code Sod3101 for 10% off your total order of Dubby Energy Drink Powder. Catch you guys next time. Have a great day. Bye!